boxing fans, welcome to InThisCornerTV.com, brought to you by Tecate, Cerveza con Carácter. I'm Smitty at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, where on Saturday night, HBO PPV presents Action Heroes. Main event, legendary Erik Morales taking on tough Marcos Maidana. Also looks to be a great undercard, Michael Katsidis. He'll take on Robert Guerrero, and always fun to watch, Paulie Malignaggi. He takes on Miguel Cotto. We caught up with all the participants.
Good hard right hand by Morales. It's a street fight in Las Vegas. Maidana's got his chance. Maidana pops it big time with the right hand.
Before we get to this fight, Marcos, let's talk about Amir Khan and reflections now that you've had some time to think about that fight.
Antes de hablar de esta pelea, me gustaría escuchar alguna reflexión acerca de cómo fue la pelea de Amir Khan, qué te quedó, qué reflexiones.
Esa pelea fue una buena pelea. Khan ganó porque es un buen boxeador y sabe, es campeón y bueno, hay que noquear al campeón para ganarle. Y no, yo ya quedo atrás esa pelea, ahora es otra pelea y otro año, quiero empezar bien este año y ganando.
I think it was a good fight, very exciting fight. He did well. He performed like a champion. I couldn't knock him out. Just he escaped barely. But that's now water under the bridge. This is a new year, starting with a new challenge for me like this. So we can clash again with Khan. That would be great.
Has to make you feel good that you're one of the most exciting fighters, at least from a fan's perspective, to watch. The people really love watching Maidana fight.
Bueno, sí, eso es la forma de pelear mía, de siempre subo al ring, subo a pelear, así que la gente le gusta eso, por eso debe admirar el boxeador que pelea así.
Well, yeah, it's gratifying for me. I have a lot of fans that I didn't know that I had them like in Japan or in England. I know I have a good fan base here in the States too, because they love nowadays they love the fighters that fight, that climb into the ring to fight, not just skillful, defensive, and I think that's what I give them.
And I think you'll get that from Erik Morales. He's a guy who comes to fight. Your thoughts on this upcoming fight with a legend, Erik Morales?
Bueno, precisamente Erik Morales es un boxeador que también siempre se destacó por pelear como vos. ¿Cuáles son tus comentarios? ¿Cuál es tu opinión acerca de esta pelea con Morales?
Bueno, sería bueno que Morales venga a pelear conmigo porque me favorece y bueno, y vamos a hacer una buena pelea.
For me, it would be great if he comes to fight. You know, I love to exchange blows with my opponents. I'm not sure he would do that, but I respect him as a warrior. But one thing for sure, it's going to be a great fight.
And what's going to happen in that fight?
¿Y qué es lo que crees que va a pasar en esa pelea?
No, yo voy a ganar. Estoy preparado para ganar y creo que voy a ganar.
I will win because I prepare myself to win now.
And I know you're not looking beyond, but what are your goals? There's a lot of stuff going on at 140 pounds. What are your goals the rest of the way in this game?
Sabemos que en estos casos los boxeadores, por respeto, no quieren mirar más allá antes de una pelea, pero me imagino que algo tendrás en tu cabeza porque es una división muy caliente y hay muchos rivales buenos para elegir en el futuro.
Sí, bueno, ganando a Morales, seguro que voy a pelear con alguno de los que están ahí arriba y no sé, con cualquiera estoy preparado para pelear.
Well, when I beat Morales, I'm sure, I'm positive that many doors will open, and by the end of the year, I'll be fighting one of the top guys out there. I don't really care who I fought next. I'm prepared for everybody.
Tell us how his training has changed over the past decade or so.
¿Cómo ha sido tu entrenamiento y cómo ha cambiado después de una década que has estado en el boxeo?
Bueno, estamos muy contentos, ha sido un trabajo de mucho esfuerzo, con mucha ilusión, muchas ganas. Estuvimos 8 semanas en el Centro de Anatomía haciendo un gran esfuerzo y ha cambiado, pues es con más madurez, con más específico, más realmente lo que necesitamos hacer con más responsabilidad.
You know, 8 weeks in the autonomy in Mexico is going to be I've been very, very happy. I've been working so hard, so well. You know, I'm a more mature person, I'm a more mature fighter, and I'm going to show that on Saturday. You know, like I said, I had a great, great camp, and that made me feel very happy.
What advantages do you feel you have over Marcos Maidana? Obviously, he's the younger guy, naturally bigger. What advantages do you have?
Las ventajas que tienes sobre un tipo más joven que tú.
Bueno, la experiencia, el saber qué hacer, cómo hacer, por qué hacerlo arriba del ring, y pues la presión, el saber cómo manejarla. No sé si él está acostumbrado a sentir la presión, y yo te aseguro que el día de la pelea habrá más mexicanos, y no estoy seguro si él sepa soportar eso.
You know, I'm a more mature fighter, and I know how to manage the pressure. Let me ask Maidana, he can manage the pressure when he sees so many Mexicans on the benches. Let's see if he can approach it, he can do it.
I'm heading to the International Boxing Hall of Fame in June, and Julio Cesar Chavez is going to be inducted. Someday you'll be there. Just a message that I can give your thoughts on Julio Cesar Chavez, what he's meant to you.
Va para Canastota y obviamente van a meter a Chávez. ¿Cuáles son tus pensamientos sobre eso? ¿Qué piensas, qué puedes decir de lo de Chávez?
Yo creo que es un gran peleador, fue un gran boxeo mexicano, grandes peleas importantes aquí en estas arenas en Las Vegas, y pues yo creo que muy merecido el hecho de estar ahí entre los mejores del mundo.
Well recognition, you know, he was one of the greatest fighters. He fought over here so many times, so I think he deserved that.
Prediction on Saturday night, and will you fight beyond Saturday night?
Tu predicción y qué va a pasar más allá de esa pelea.
Bueno, vamos a salir con la mano en alto, de eso estamos seguros. Y va a ser una gran noche. Después de ahí, no lo sé. Estamos pensando en el sábado en la noche y es todo.
I'm just thinking on Saturday night, I'm going to be victorious, and I don't know what is going to be beyond.
Best of luck, continued success on what has already been a brilliant career.
Oh, what a left uppercut by Guerrero. Right hand from Katsidis. There's a combination that staggers Casamaior.
First off, Mike, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Before we get to this upcoming fight with Robert Guerrero, I want to go back to your last fight with Juan Manuel Marquez, and going into that fight, first off against one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world in Marquez, but under extremely difficult circumstances, the loss of your brother. Tell us about that.
It's an extremely difficult thing to deal with, hearing that your brother just died, and the circumstance as well is so sudden, and then having to train that afternoon 4 weeks out from a world unification bout. It's a hard thing to deal with, but look, let's just face it, boxing isn't an easy sport. It's one of the toughest sports in the world. I believe it is the toughest. And, I think there's many fighters out there who have achieved great things in the sport, and they've managed to get through these things and similar things such as this. And what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, and here I am today.
But I believe what separates the good fighters from the great fighters and the great fighters from the legends is not so much the physical stuff, but the mental stuff. It had to be extremely difficult to go in there. How did you cope?
Well, I didn't, to be honest. The sleeping thing was a really difficult part of it. It was hard to sleep at night. Just the envisioning in my head, that was very difficult. But it was like I had to form an on-off button, for my emotions, and I think it was very difficult, like with a lot of the press and the lead-up, that of course everyone wanted to know about the situation, what had happened, and every time that his name was mentioned, it was hard just to hold back the tears, and that's when I had to form this on-off button. I could just turn it off, turn it on, and of course I've had a bit of time since then. I've been able to deal with it, spend time with the family, and I'm straight back on the horse against the biggest and the best fighter that I could get as soon as possible. What
can you tell your fans, what you and your family have found out about the bizarre circumstances of his death?
The hardest thing for me to deal with is just in the past week, I had confirmation from my lawyer that there was messages from his girlfriend at the time that she had bashed him that night. He couldn't even stand or open his eyes. This has been a very difficult thing. We knew the circumstances were suspicious. They were holding back the toxicology reports. They were looking at doing an investigation into it, and then now we've just had this news confirmation about the messages and so forth. So look, this is just one of those things that you have to deal with. And I work as per usual. This is my life, and it's not an easy job. But let's just I'll focus on the fight. I'll win this fight, and then I'll become stronger for it.
Let's hope we get a resolution, and I'll try to stay in touch with you and Brendan, and we'll keep everybody updated. The fight itself with Juan Manuel Marquez, a loss, an excellent performance, especially given what we just spoke about. But what did you learn from that fight against one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world?
Well, I think it's the first fight I've hesitated. I thought a little bit too much. The moment that I put the guy down, that killer instinct that I normally had, I've thought about it too much. I thought, oh, well, he fought against Diaz. Diaz put him down, and then Diaz blew himself out, but he worked too hard. And I sort of hesitated for that little bit. And there was that 10 seconds in there, I could have hit Marquez with anything that I wanted to, and I didn't act on it. And I suppose I learned never give a sucker a break. And really, if I was put in the same situation again, in a perfect world, I believe I win that fight. So, there's that valuable stuff you learn in a fight that you can't buy in sparring. You can't get it anywhere. It's in that fight, and those 10 seconds where I was looking him in the eyes, there's that opportunity, and I've learned that. So I can guarantee you, if the situation were the same come this Saturday night, I'll put the guy away.
Saturday night, Robert Guerrero, this one could steal the show. Two guys who, it's interesting, you guys are pretty much at the same stage in your career, about the same age, same number of fights, only a few losses between you. What do you think of this guy?
He's the best out there. The best that I could fight out there at this stage. He's the number one contender in the world, and I couldn't have got a harder opponent straight up as soon as possible. And this is what I do, and this is why I wanted that fight. It's just one of those things where, you can have as many tune-up fights as you want, but how long do you want to be doing this for? It's one of those things where, look, I'm just backing up from. I had a great performance with Marquez, and to me it wasn't a loss, because I gained a lot from the fight, and straight back in there and ready to do the job.
What advantages do you think you have over him going into this fight? Obviously, your resume is a little bit more impressive. Who you fought?
Look, there's not a lot between us. Like Guerrero is like an awkward sort of a guy, whereas he's rangy and he's fast. He can box good, but he's also strong. So I take it he can brawl well as well. So he's got a bit of everything. So there's not much between us, but I think the real difference between who's who on the night is going to be right here on the night. So we'll have to wait and see.
And what is your prediction?
Knockout first round.
Knockout in first round.
Yeah.
I get the feeling it might go a little bit longer than that, but
okay.
but we'll see. I mean, I got to get to
look. If I don't knock him out in the first, it's going to be early. That's what I think. No disrespect to Robert, but that's just what I believe.
Wow, that's so you'll be able to have join me for a Tecate about 20 minutes later. Then
don't forget the 100 Ks.
100K or 100 cases of Tecate.
Oh, okay.
Hey, beyond this fight, man, there's a lot of stuff out there for you. What are your goals beyond? I know you're focused on Guerrero and Saturday night, but beyond it.
I don't look beyond it. Look, like we talk about things such as we were, like with my personal life and things. It's hard to look forward in like the life that I have. It's so many things happen in my life, and there's so much going on, and I can't look. This is the greatest thing in my life to happen this Saturday night. I'm unifying 2 world titles, WBA lightweight championship of the world. It's hard to look past that moment.
Well, one thing we look forward to, since you're kind of a neighbor of mine sometimes here in Las Vegas, we look forward to sitting you down and doing an entire episode with you on the television show, and then you get to step inside the squared circle with me.
Okay.
Don't shiver.
All right.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks.
Robert, first of all, welcome to InThisCornerTV.com.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And excited about what's going to take place on Saturday night. You take on Michael Katsidis. Tell us your thoughts leading up to this bout.
I'm excited about it. I haven't been in this kind of shape for a fight ever, and there's a lot of excitement. I mean, Michael Katsidis, I seen him yesterday at the Grand Arrivals, and he looks very ready to go, and I know he's going to bring the best out of me.
You would think on paper, you guys are about the same age, had the same number of fights, only a few losses between the both of you. Stylistically, this one shapes up to be a barn burner.
Oh yeah, I really feel this one's going to steal the show, and don't miss it because it's going to be an exciting one. Michael Katsidis' style and my style, they clash to be a great fight.
You're right there. You're right there sitting on the edge of greatness. You're a very good fighter. What is it going to take, in your opinion, to become a great fighter?
I think this fight right here is going to catapult me into big things. I got to take care of business on the 9th, and there's going to be a lot of big things out there. 140 pounds. There's a Pacquiao fight out there. There's a Mayweather fight, and this is going to catapult me right into that.
What do you enjoy most about this sport?
Getting in there and mixing it up, taking punches and giving them. That's the best feeling in the world, is to be in there, one-on-one and be able to control and dictate the fight.
Well, tell us what's going to happen on Saturday night against Michael Katsidis.
You're going to see me come out and put on a great performance and come out with a victory. I ain't predicting no knockouts or this and that, but it can happen. So, with my style and his style, it's going to be one for the fans. So
despite being a ghost, he won't have any trouble finding you in that side of the ring. We could have this in a phone booth.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a great fight. You're going to see a lot of the ghost fight night.
All right, best of luck, continued success.
Hey, thank you.
Paulie, welcome back to InThisCornerTV.com.
Glad to be back, Smitty.
Now, star of Lights Out, I say. How did that come about? I saw your cameo on there. You did a great job.
Yeah. We filmed it last summer. I was in New York, and they called me up and said if I would like to be a part of the show. And when I got there, they actually had a couple of speaking parts for me. I was glad to be they had out of a few boxers, I was the only one that got a speaking part. So I was a little flattered, but I was actually happy about it, and I had a good time filming.
Is that something you're looking to get into after your boxing career? That's speaking, acting, that sort of thing? You're certainly an animated guy.
Yeah. If those doors open up, why not? I always have a fun time doing it. I'm never at a loss for words. So, I have a small resume. I've done that. I did a commercial for Nintendo and a couple of other little small parts in little other shows and movies and stuff. So, if I get my reel big enough, you never know, man. Maybe something will come up, something bigger will pop off, and I can get into some acting as well. If the door opens up, why not?
Tell the fans where you're at this point in your career, 30 years of age. I can't believe it, right? You're obviously few losses in your career, going up in weight just a tiny bit. Where are you at?
I look at this like a last run, a last stand. And I don't think it's more of a desperation last stand. I think I have enough left in the tank to really make a good last run at it. Some guys look to push the envelope and say, they've had enough of it, but they're just trying to go overboard, I feel like I'm 30. I feel like I've had a bunch of tough fights and, some even tough losses, but I do feel like I have a lot of energy left and, I still feel very fast, very speedy, very reflexive, so to speak. And, although I will say it's one last good run, it is a good run, and I intend to make the most of it. And, anybody in the welterweight division that gets in my way is going to have a tough fight on their hands.
Well, on Saturday, another Cotto gets in your way. This time it's Jose Cotto.
Yeah, it's Jose Cotto. It's funny, it's a small world, man, So much has changed since I fought his brother in terms of my career and just everyone's career in general. I mean, time does fly, though. It's almost 5 years now. But other than that, I really don't think about the fact that I fought his brother and now I'm fighting the older brother, It's more of just, this is the opponent in front of me. I have some goals set for the end of part of my career, and I've got to get by this guy in order to get to those goals. And that's about the extent of the way I'm looking at the fight. I'm not looking at it much more where he's in that. There could be a lot of ways fans could look at it, and the media could spin it about the brother rivalry and all this other stuff. And I heard Miguel's going to work the corner for Jose and stuff, but Miguel can't fight for Jose. Jose's got to get in there and do it himself. So, having said that, I look at Jose like he's a guy in my way. I'm sure he's come prepared. I'm sure he's looking at it like his last stand as well. So somebody's got to go, right? Somebody's going to have to take a step back, and it's not going to be me, man. I feel real good, I feel real sharp.
They're building this card as action heroes. Is there any truth to this rumor I'm hearing that Lou Ferrigno and the Incredible Hulk will lead you into the ring on Saturday night?
No, that would have been a cool thing. I do have some funny stuff going on, but it's not Lou Ferrigno. Although, man, that would have been a nice idea.
All right, what's your prediction for this fight?
I expect a dominant victory. I don't expect it to be a close fight, and that's not as a disrespect to Cotto. That's just more of I'm speaking in terms of my own preparation and the way I feel. I feel very good. I feel sharp, reflexive, and I feel prepared to do what I'm supposed to do on Saturday night and dominate.
All right, best of luck, continued success. The show you did with us on In This Corner on our television show is one of the most popular ones by the fans.
I wonder why, man. That was back in the Hatton days, right?
Hey, you're a popular guy. Best of luck.
Thank you, man. Thank you.